to stay on the theme of what we're doing is how do we keep our fire for God? How do we stay on fire for God? This week we're going to be talking about how not to quench that fire. And Paul's going to go through that a little bit in Thessalonians. So that the verse we want to think about as we're doing this is 19. Do not quench. I think that's what yours says. I think yours only has 3 or 4 words in it. My Amplified's got a whole bunch, but
And do not stifle the
do not stifle the Holy Spirit. Do not quench the Holy Spirit. It's kind of fascinating. You know, and it's kind of interesting. So if there's we talked a little bit about how to stir up that flame last week. So this week we're talking about how not to quench it. How do we've done all this, we'll call it work. It's not really work. We did all this work to get our fire burning. You know, our fireplace in our cabin burning in our house so that we could heat the house for the night or the day or whatever. You've done all this work to get that fire going. And then you grab a bucket of water and you throw it on it and you quench the fire. It may go out, it may not. But in our Christian walk, we do certain things to throw buckets of water on the Holy Spirit and it tamps him down and he just steps back. He says, well, if you're going to throw water on me, I'm going to back up so the bucket can't reach me. So we're going to look at that a little bit. But we're going to start at verse 12. Paul talking to the Thessalonians in chapter 5. It says, and I got Amplified, so I'll have extra words. Now we ask you, brothers and sisters, to appreciate those who diligently work among you. Recognize, acknowledge, and respect their leadership, who are in charge over you in the Lord and who give you instructions. And we ask that you appreciate them. Hold them in the highest esteem and love because of their work on our behalf. Live in peace with one another. We talked a lot about that several weeks ago. You know, how we should honor the people ahead of us and honor leadership. And sometimes we have to even try to do our best to stay in a biblical focus on leaders we don't agree with. So he says, you remember, we find common ground with those we don't even agree with. So the political leaders, you know, the political groups, you know, you got this group trying to accomplish something, you got this group trying to accomplish something, and they're so far apart. But yet, we are supposed to be, as leaders, try to find one thing that we can focus on. Well, let's all collect toys for kids. Well, this one's totally opposed. We're totally opposed to this one. This one's totally opposed to this one, and we like this one. Well, we can come together and collect toys for kids in unity, even though we don't believe in each other's cause or philosophy or whatever. Find common ground. I heard a guy talk several weeks ago, and he's saying, if you got a group of people in the room and if they will honestly listen and talk to each other, say out of 10 things, if you had 10 topics, random topics picked up, there will probably be 8 of the topics that a group of those people in that room, out of those 10 topics, about 8 topics they could be opposed to. But there's 2 that they're on common ground. He says, but they would rather stick their feet in the ground and fight and complain over the other 8 than finding, well, we don't agree on all this, but we can eradicate this problem if we focus on it together. And people won't do it. Because it's
the problem, they got to be willing.
They won't talk. Yeah. That's the challenge. People aren't talking. And it's because it's that mob mentality. It's that enemy mentality. You hear, well, you're Hitler, you're the Antichrist, or you're evil. Well, we're not going to talk if you call me evil because you're going to want to be nothing to do with me.
Right, put up that wall.
They put a wall up. And the more walls we put up, the less and less is going to get done. Because now it's my way versus your way. So your way is obviously wrong. And not that it's all wrong. They won't even go that it's all wrong. There's no good. Well, this part of what you want to do is really good, and this is part of my good. I always said that our Congress should have a law, that the law should be that when they write the bills up, it should be on one page.